Good afternoon, my dear student. That, as you know, I'm going to take one revision test from the history chapter 1 and geography chapter 1. This is the first chapter of history and geography. Now, today I revise that for the revision class, this one I will discuss that what is the first one, that is the Mesopotamian civilization. That what are the important things from these civilizations that you have to be learned properly. Okay. So first is before we start about the Mesopotamian civilization, we know that what is the civilization. Before that, what is the civilization? At first, in the earlier days, you know that in the earlier days when you read in class 5, that in the earlier days in the Paleolithic age, Neolithic age or the Mesolithic age, that time, before that, especially in the Paleolithic age, the peoples, they not staying in their home or their houses. They didn't have any permanent residence for themselves. Always they had to be searching for, sometimes they are busy for searching of food, searching of water. They are traveling from one place to another place. Now, afterwards, from the Neolithic age, they start to doing the agriculture. And their main reasons that for the migrating or they have to traveling from one place to another place for the searching of food and shelter. So when their main requirement that for the food, for due to the agriculture process, they will get in available amount. That time they decided that no need to migrate into the other places. They can stay in one place and they continue their work or their agricultural work. So for that reason, that the peoples they start to decide to live together, to live in a particular place, in the making their houses. Now, when day by day, the many peoples they are start to live in one particular place. Many peoples they are start living and they prepare almost one small village like area. This is called the civilization. Now, what is the civilization? When the two or more people they start to live in a particular area. Okay. That is called the civilization. Means when the many people they prepare their homes or their settlement and they start to live on that portion. Now here again you have to read that first is what is the definition of civilization and what are the features of civilization. Now what are the features of civilization? That the civilization features are different. Like those are the due to the civilization, the trade is the cities and town it being developed. For the civilization only they are the transportation, communication, roadways network or the railways network it being occurring in more amount. The peoples are mostly involved due to the trade or as a businessman. And also more are there they fast start to doing for the religion they out for the emergence the regional languages. It can happen due to the for the civilization only. So these are the different features are given that have to learn. What are the different features or the characteristics of civilization? Means whenever the peoples they not have to stay in a particular place, they can't think afterwards or they can't think the advanced way that what will need afterwards. So when they start to live in one place and their main requirements that the shelter and the food when it fulfill, that time peoples they start to thinking about the other things, about their occupations or the other the roadways, railways network, about the trade, about this matter they have to start to thinking. And the next you have to learn which one is the most important one from this chapter. That is what are the reasons are responsible for the growing up all the civilization beside the river or all the river valley civilization it made. Because on that time in the ancient time they have enough place, sufficient anywhere the peoples they can live. Okay, but then also the peoples all the civilization in the earlier all the civilization they made beside the river. What is the reason for that? What are the reasons are responsible for that? First one is the available amount of water. We know that the water is very important for us. And one thing you remember, when you write this answer, that time you should write by using sub point. Not simply you have to write 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. Using sub point. You understand what is a sub point? Suppose I am writing the answer. First you give the sub point. Available amount of water. Okay. Now what do you write under this point, under this sub point? That though we know the water is very important for us. So when the peoples they have to make their houses beside the river, so they can get the sufficient amount of water very easily from the river. And not only this, they can use the river water as the irrigation process due to their agricultural field. So for this reason, the people get this more advantages from the river. And the second one is the good climate condition. We know that beside the river, all the areas they have the good climatic condition. Here the climate condition is moderate type. Not too much hot and not too much cold. So this type of moderate climate condition is very favorable for living of the peoples, and where the peoples are living the most of the time, and not only the peoples but growing of the crops also is very favorable for it. And the third is the transportation and communication. In the earlier days, people doesn't have, those are the airways or the roadways. That time the waterways is only the one way that people can travel, not only themselves, they can send the goods also from one place to another place. And last you can write about the occupation. Those are the peoples are living beside the river. Beside the agriculture, they can take the another occupation as a fisheries also. Okay, and they get the sufficient amount of food as a fish from the river. So these are the different reasons are being responsible for the why the all the civilization it been grow up beside the or being established beside the river valley or the beside the river. Now the next is this one about the river valley civilization. Now afterwards we going to read that about the Mesopotamian civilization. What is the Mesopotamian civilization? Their first location. What is the location of where the Mesopotamian civilization is located? We know this one is the river valley civilization. Now, beside which river this Mesopotamian civilization is located? That is a very important question. That beside the river of Tigris and Euphrates is the center. First, where the Mesopotamian civilization is located? First, one river is passed through this portion, another river is passed through this portion, and Mesopotamian civilization exactly it's located in the center portion. So this is about the. So if you think if first one is the Euphrates and Tigris, these two rivers, that between them the Mesopotamian civilization is located. And as we know, the river beside land is very fertile because it developed or is made by the sand, silt and alluvium soil. And also, so both the side they create the very fertile land that is very useful for the growing crops. And here the abundant amount or the excess amount of crops they will grow. That is why the Mesopotamian people they choose this place for their making their civilization. Now you know what is the meaning of Mesopotamia? The meaning of Mesopotamia is land between two rivers. The land between two rivers. That is the meaning of Mesopotamia. Okay. Now again you have to discuss about the Mesopotamian civilization. It being started from which year? That is between 3500 BC to 600 BC. These things you have to remember. 3500 BC. This is the starting to 600 BC. This time only Mesopotamian civilization being developed. And Mesopotamian civilization is also known as the cradle of civilization. Why is it known as the cradle of civilization? The cradle of civilization, because that if the question will come, that give the reason why the Mesopotamian civilization is also known as the cradle of civilization. Then what you write? That because the Mesopotamian civilization that is established in the first civilization in the world. Then afterward, the other civilization, when the peoples are spread from here, then the other civilization is being discovered or established. That is why the Mesopotamia civilization is also known as the cradle of civilization. So these are very important things that have to learn from this portion. And you know what is the earliest civilization that is emerged? Earliest civilization that is emerged in Mesopotamia, earliest. Which one? Sumerian civilization. Remember this one. Sumerian civilization is the earliest civilization in the Mesopotamia. Don't be forget. Sumerian civilization is the earliest civilization in Mesopotamia. And next is that about the society. It's also one of the very important. That the society structure. Now our society being they are divided into the rich, poor, different castes, different community. They are divided. Not only from nowadays. In the earlier time also in the Mesopotamian civilization, on that time also, their society has been divided into three parts. What are the three parts? First one is the upper class, second one is the middle class, and the third one is the lower class. What are the upper class? Means the upper class means that those are the very royal family peoples, king or the rulers, and second is that those are the very high priest, and those are the very rich person. They are belong from the higher class or the upper level. And from the middle class, those are the merchant, art craft person. They are belong from the middle class. And the lower class or the slaves type of peoples, they belong from the lower class. So by this way, their society is being divided. So you have to remember that from the upper class, which type of the person they belong. From the middle class, what are the persons are belong, and from the lower class also, which type of the persons are belonging from the lower class also. So these are the things you have to learn from this society portion. Now you know about the family. That like our family also, on that time the Mesopotamian family, their head is the father. and their family system is the patriarchal in nature. Means the father was the head of their family. And also that's not means that the women did not get the respect. The women also get the same respect, and not only this, they also can present themselves as a witness in court also, and they get all the ownership on in their properties also. And the next is about the town planning. You know what is the town planning? The town planning means when the peoples they prepare how they make the town and cities. That is the town planning. When the peoples in Mesopotamia they make on the both the side their road. First is the main road, and both the side they prepare their house. Both the side in a nice way that they prepare their house. Okay, and all the houses are the two-story building, and their houses they are prepared with the central courtyard. It is an empty courtyard. Every houses they have some empty place in their home. And not only this, their houses are made by the different type of metals they have to use for making their houses. What are the things? Like the sandstone and the sun-dried bricks. Sun-dried bricks and the sandstone. These two metals they use for making their houses. So these things are have to be learned from that portion, and also not only this much, more are there. So that I discuss in my next class. So you have to prepare it well. That from the history or full chapter, all the things, each and every point, and the geography also, you have to read it properly. Then only you can able to give the answers. Okay. So I hope you have to learn it properly. Thank you.